Fullmetal Alchemist was one of my favorite animes which I grew up with, not understanding a lot of its plotline messages. Revisiting the show, specifically episode 4, after hearing how tragic and sad that episode is, I got a lot more than I bargained for, the many messages I missed out on as an innocent, ignorant child. Ed and Al, in search of perfecting their alchemy to return what they lost, come to meet the head of a branch in alchemy in order to learn from him. Being ignorant, they dismiss a lot of red flags, being in for the surprise of their life, being hit with the question whether what they are accustomed to is ethical or not. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator. Consider following me on Twitter, where you can communicate with me and send me video suggestions. Edward and Alphonse Elric, in search of a mythical stone called Philosopher's Stone, to replenish what they lost in a failed transmutation to retrieve their dead mother, are introduced to a scholar in Chimera transmutation, Sho Tucker, known as the Sewing Life Alchemist due to his well-renowned and successful experiments. Chimeric alchemy or research is the alchemy of binding two dissimilar living organisms into one newly synthesized complete creature, which are called chimera. Ed, being a state alchemist at age of 15 only, has proven himself to be a mighty alchemist, yet he failed to bring his mother back from death, leading to him losing his leg and his brother losing his entire body. In a desperate attempt to reverse the horrific outcome of his brother being taken in this difficult to master transmutation alchemy, an 11-year-old Ed offers his arm in a tray to retrieve his younger brother's soul, binding his soul to a suit of armor. Hence why he wants to master his alchemy, seek any available help, and possibly find the Philosopher's Stone before he tries to perform another alchemy in retrieving his brother's body and his lost limbs. Tucker became a state alchemist after successfully synthesizing a chimera that could seemingly understand human language. The chimera only uttered one sentence, "I want to die," before refusing to eat and dying in a sad turn of events. This portrays how unethical and cruel scientists or alchemists were in this fictional version of early 20th century. As soon as they enter Tucker's residence, they are warmly welcomed by a friendly dog called Alexander, who is part of Tucker's family, and Nina, Tucker's daughter, who seems to be welcoming to new visitors. Tucker reveals that his wife left him 2 years ago, leading to his house becoming a mess, with dirty plates stacked haphazardly on top of each other, indicating that Sho has been so occupied with his work that he hasn't been paying much attention to anything else. Sho gives them a tour of his lab, with chimeras being the results of mixing animals together, caged in poor conditions, leading to them becoming aggressive. The state has gone to the length of calling him the authority on chimeras, a representation of variety of terms which were given to mad scientists in real history. Tucker, impressed by the enthusiasm of Ed, makes a remark that he's into reading books so much that he doesn't even notice what's going on around him, calling him a genius, a remark that resonates with himself, working so much that he doesn't pay much attention to anything else. The colonel then explains that someone will come in the same evening to pick them up before leaving. Their studying session is cut short when the playful Nina and Alexander come to play with the hard-at-work Ed and Al. Not much later, they plan to visit tomorrow, leaving the Tucker's residence. As they leave, Tucker is reminded that his end-of-year assessment is due, which upsets him. He explains to his daughter that state alchemists must provide the results of their entire year experiments, and for him to still qualify as a state alchemist, he must do well this year, as his last year evaluations were less than satisfactory. Next day commences with Nina explaining to Ed and Al that her mother left 2 years ago, being told by her father that she went to her parents' house. She continues that her father spends most of his time in his lab nowadays, making her feel lonely, when Al and Ed take a break playing with them outside. Later in the evening, Tucker explains to Elric brothers that before becoming a state alchemist, he was so poor that they couldn't afford food, leading to his wife leaving, rationalizing why passing the assessment this year is so crucial to him. The night comes to an end, and the Elrics visit Tucker's residence the following day, being presented with an empty house. After visiting Tucker's lab, they find him with a newly formed chimera, which he seems very proud of, as this will definitely provide satisfactory results now, keeping him qualified for state alchemy. Ed, mesmerized to the result of this experiment, watching the test subject in awe, the chimera turns to Edward, calling him Oni-chan, which roughly translates to older brother. Shocked and in disbelief to what might have been the organisms to achieve this chimera, Ed asks Tucker as confirmation to when it was that his wife left him and when he got his state alchemist qualification, when he learns that Tucker, in fact, experimented on his wife, and now using Nina and Alexander to synthesize this creature. An understandably infuriated Ed, who bonded with both Alexander and Nina during their stay together, grabs Tucker in a threatening way, with a confused Tucker explaining that mankind's advancements have always been the product of experiments on humans and animals throughout history. Explaining that they are both the same, as Edward did a similar experiment, leading to his brother losing his buddy. Ed loses it and starts punching Tucker to a pulp. This leads to the chimera being the combination of Alexander and Nina interfering, sympathizing with her dad, asking Ed to stop. Alexander and Nina then ask Al to play with them, when Al realizes that they wouldn't be able to reverse this action and turn them back into their original bodies. After some time, disgusted to the actions of Tucker, Ed is confronted by the Colonel, who explains that Tucker did exactly what the state expected. They knew all along about his experiments. When people become state alchemists or join the army, they become the possession and weapons of the state, and they must do whatever is asked of them, hence why Tucker was under so much pressure to do just that, to satisfy an inhuman state. Colonel even criticizes Edward that he was made aware of what sort of experiments Tucker carries out and why he was so surprised. He knew Tucker experiments on mistreated innocent animals that are caged in horrid conditions, and the chimera that understood human language was portrayed that it was with a human. Ed, disgusted with himself, knowing deep down he's similar to Tucker, explains that he's still driven to find a way to get his brothers and his own body back, but yet they're just human, no matter how powerful, and can't play God. Just as Tucker is spending time with the transmuted Nina and Alexander, they get approached by the infamous serial killer who targets state alchemists, a survivor of the Ishbal Civil War, who witnessed his entire family and town mercilessly killed by the state, who seeks revenge, killing all the state alchemists in return. The killer swiftly kills Tucker, delivering him with a fate that he truly deserved, when he witnesses in shock the chimera Nina slowly approaching the lifeless body of Tucker, having tears rolling down her eyes, uttering with all of her energy, "Daddy." The killer, despite what he's been labeled, shows humanity unlike the self-proclaimed good guy state alchemists, putting Nina out of her misery in a quick, seemingly painless way. He wishes Nina's passing to being quick, going to a better place, leaving this cruel world behind. This episode portrays the cruelty of humankind and the atrocities they have committed throughout history in the name of advancing human race. The first chimera that understood human language was the result of Tucker's wife with another poor animal. Unlike Nina and Alexander, his wife had a deeper comprehension and understanding of her state and how miserable she's become. That is why she refuses to eat in order to die, as death would be much better than living such a horrible life. Tucker was only driven with work and keeping his position as a state alchemist to the point that he ignored the well-being of his dog and daughter, also his wife. In his mind, he didn't do anything wrong, as he still loved his family the same. He just simply couldn't comprehend that his family is in pain, as in the field of science and human advancement, nothing is more important. Even Edward at first didn't care much about the chimeras and animals who suffered in the process, finding it mesmerizing. Until someone close to him, Nina and Alexander, were subjected, having a harsh reality check that he's a hypocrite. Human and animal experiments have been a part of human advancements, truly. with figures such as the father of gynecology, experiments such as twin studies, effects of weapons and diseases on poorer class citizens and war prisoners. Although many prove to be useful and changing the course of technology, the question remains if sacrificing a group of people to save some others is ethical and moral. Even till today, horrible animal experiments are conducted on a daily basis for everyday products we use such as soap, hygienic products, medicine advancement, makeup, and a lot more. There are, however, many cruelty-free and vegan products available, which are becoming more popular, reducing the number of animal test subjects. If you enjoyed this video, you can watch more by clicking on the cards on the screen, and you can stay tuned by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your host Dar, and as always, have a fantastic day.